Before you start reselling locally,
There are 6 products you should avoid like the plague.
I learned this the hard way, and each one cost me time, money, and headaches. That's 2. Stick around till the end because I'll be showing you exactly what you should be selling instead. Starting off strong, golf clubs. Now, as if you would think about golf clubs, you think they are expensive, and which they are if you're buying them brand new. But on the used market, especially on the local level, used golf clubs are almost worthless. I thought I hit a gold mine the first time I found a few golf clubs at Goodwill. I looked them up and they were worth like $300. There were some nice Callaway drivers. But what I failed to understand is most people who are looking for secondhand clubs are looking for cheap clubs because the value of having your own unused clubs that are not damaged is worth a lot more to them than an extra 200 bucks saved. So here's what I just did with the ones I had left. Next up, we have sneakers. And don't get me wrong, there is a huge resale market for these if you are selling them online. I primarily wanted to sell everything locally. I didn't want to deal with the hassle of shipping things and learning the platforms. Plus, I was being a little bit greedy and I didn't want to pay commissions on those platforms. But if you were living in the suburbs like I was, there is no market for sneakers, which people do still want them, but they are going to lowball you cheaper than what you got them for at Goodwill, even if you found good ones. People just want a deal on shoes that they can themselves resell online. So if you're going to get into sneakers, don't sell them locally. You're just going to have low ballers, and it's going to be a stressful time. Plus, I don't know much about sneakers, so that could have also been my pitfall. And if I did know more about them, I probably would have just only sold them online anyway. Next, in the same essence, we have clothes. Save these for Depop. Again, sell them online. Locally, people are just trying to get the clothes for cheap. They don't care if it's vintage, what brand it is. They just want to get a deal. Of course, it's a different story online because it's curated and people are looking for those specific brands and clothes, types, and sizes. But with a smaller demographic around, you are very limited. And the few people that you will get will not want to pay a decent price for it. So a funny story about the clothes and sneakers. When I first got into reselling, I thought I was going to be rich by reselling clothes and sneakers. And in hindsight, that was a very stupid idea. But I went to the nearest rich towns. I went to their thrift stores and I bought name brand clothes, sneakers, whatever I could find that was a good deal. And I thought I'm going to easily flip this. And then I also found a store that was closing down. They were selling mannequins that were fabric. So I set up a whole photo studio to take pictures of these clothes on the mannequins and just display them because obviously I'm not going to pose in the woman's clothes. Looking back at it, probably a bad idea, but why would women buy women's clothes from a guy who has them on mannequins? So maybe that was also a factor in that, but didn't work out. Several $100s in the hole. Lessons I hope are learned. Hopefully you learn from my mistakes. Don't try to sell clothes locally. We're halfway through the list, but before I share the next one with you, let me give you something that you could actually make money with. I put together a list of 10 winning products that I actively still sell. You can grab it right now for free in the link in the top of the description. Number 4 is something I was quite surprised about, and it's various electronic products. From routers to speakers, humidifiers, trackers. You get the point. Something that's not as tangible as a phone, computer, things like that. Something on the lower ticket end. I figured most people were going to go get those cheaper products on Amazon anyway. They are pretty easy to come by. And the type of people that you're getting are going to be people that are bargain hunters and they're just going to lowball you. And the unfortunate thing is a lot of times those same people will ask the most out of you. I have some old speakers listed that I was just trying to get rid of for myself, not flip. I've had to cut them down all the way to $10. And the only person I got that messaged me asked me to meet them 45 minutes away from my house. I would rather throw the speaker away at that point. I don't even know what to say to that. And they refused to come pick it up also. So there's that. Just generally avoid lower ticket generic products or lesser known brands for that matter, just so you could save yourself the headache because something that you think is worth a lot, a $50 speaker or $200 router, you are not going to get even $10, $20 for it. Number 5 is holiday decor, but I do have to preface this a bit. Holiday decor does sell well, specifically Christmas in late November, early December, maybe mid-December if someone's desperate. But if you were a little bit dense in the head and like me, you thought you could go buy a lot of Christmas decorations the day after Christmas because they were 50 to 75 to 80% off, and then resell them throughout the year, boy, are we both wrong about that. I was having a good Christmas selling season. I was selling Christmas decorations and Christmas themed items. So I was like, hey, these are great. Let me get them for cheaper and I could sell them for more. But some neurons in my head just didn't fire that day. And now I've got a lot of Christmas stuff sitting in the back of a closet waiting till December. Number 6 is actually one of my favorite products to sell, but there is a huge caveat to it. What is that product? It's knives. And how I started trying to sell knives was I actually worked as a salesman for Cutco knives. I know the big pyramid scheme, allegedly, but I did pretty well selling them. And they were actually really good knives. They were priced a bit ridiculous, but they are great knives. Plus the employee benefits of getting employee pricing, getting them for about like 20% of the price. Me having the full expensive set in my kitchen made up for it. But what I learned from that is people like knives. They like kitchen knives, and men especially during my presentations would always ask about the tactical knives, the pocket knives, flip out knives, whatever, you get the point. And when I started digging into it, I found some good quality knife manufacturers that wholesale for really cheap. And I tested them out and they were actually high quality. The edge was good, it stayed, and it came with nice leather sheaths. And so getting them for like 15 bucks, I easily was selling them for $80 a pop. But here is the thing. That is against Facebook's terms of service. So now my account a whole year later is under the restriction. If I post something that's not allowed, I'm going to get my whole account banned. And every single listing that I post takes about an hour or two to go public just because it now has to be manually reviewed. So if you do want to sell them at your own risk, obviously try to do it smarter, more discreetly. They are profitable. But if you get that restriction, your account will be banned if you try to post it again. So once you get that first strike, you're kind of done with knives. You've seen my pitfalls, so now let me show you how to actually win. I made a video showing you how to get started reselling locally in just a few steps. So click here to watch my full reselling guide and you'll get the foundations that you need to start strong.